Okay, so after that huge two-parter with episode 18 of reacting to Detective, the Chinese show that was filmed in the year 2020, and for the most part, believe it or not, is a really good show. Yes, there's many things about it that irked me. There's many things that probably would not irk other people as much as they irked me. Nothing made me angrier than episode 18. If you completely deleted the vast majority of that episode. After episode 18, again, just like I can't remember where it is, there was somewhere else in the show where there was a shift. Well, I know when they first got to... Why did I suddenly forget the name of it? When they first got to this town, there was a shift in how the show felt. And I think there was possibly a shift somewhere else. But after episode 18, there's another shift. And it actually has nothing to do with Jajan finding out about Mir. Because like I said at the end of my reaction to that one, after all of that, you could actually completely delete the fact that she found out about Mir. And it would work. Like, I'm not joking. You could easily, as the viewer watching this, forget that she found out about Mir. And one of the reasons is, the show itself, Mir basically vanishes. He doesn't disappear. He's still there. What I mean is, he basically vanishes as in, it isn't until, I think, episode 25 that we actually see, this is starting episode 19, and from episode 18 all the way until 25 or 26, we don't see Mir again. And yes, he kind of disappeared from the show for a while at other points, but, it's different this time. When you see him again, it's really weird. But we'll get there. So, we're going to be moving a lot faster through some of these episodes, and it's for a different reason. I had that one where I had 5 episodes with one. I could have actually broken those up. This one, it's... A main thing I was reacting to was characters and their interactions with each other. And now Mir isn't in the story for quite a while. And the interactions between characters actually not as important in these episodes, because in these episodes we're actually dealing with the story itself. We're not really dealing with characters and interactions between characters as much, not in the same way. So I'm going to move through these episodes a lot faster because it's more to do with the story, and I wasn't really reacting to the story so much in these reaction videos. So yes, there are spoilers all over the place in this thing. I can't help it. When you're doing a walkthrough reaction too, I have to spoil stuff. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. So, starting at episode 19, and we're going to keep going from here to see how far we get. Episode 19, Observations. Number 1. I don't know whether to like it or dislike it. Such mixed feelings. Depan and Jajan laugh when Tan sheepishly mumbles, extreme situations call for extreme measures. But you see, as adorable as he was while being so sheepish, I have 2 serious problems with this. Number 1, Tan is a policeman. He was not wrong. I will say that over and over and over and over and over again. He was not wrong when he said people upholding the law can't go around breaking the law to do it. I'm getting rather sick and tired of TV justifying the breaking of laws, unless, of course, the law is something that shouldn't have been a law. This could bring up a whole much deeper discussion. So keep in mind, I'm keeping on the surface level here. But in general, unless the law is actually an immoral one or a flat out wrong one, Tan is not wrong to say that it's wrong for a policeman to be breaking it. I'm getting rather sick and tired of TV justifying the breaking of laws. And on top of that, even worse, making fun of people that do everything they can to keep the law, especially when they are a policeman. It is their job to keep the law. But it's cool when we get to see the people that are just constantly breaking it and being rebellious and all that stuff. Actually, that's not that cool, people. It's actually not. Stop it. And they're laughing like he's admitting he's wrong. And it's so cute. And he wasn't wrong. And 2, why has he changed his mind over this fact? Was it because of Jajan and Depan? Perhaps partly. Both of them are clearly more gray in this area than Tan ever was before. But after everything we've seen, I refuse to believe that Mir didn't play a big part in this. and what he's learned about Mirror / through Mirror is absolutely a big part of why Tan is changing. And yet, does anyone, even Japan, does anyone acknowledge the good that Mirror has done in pulling Tan back from his own extreme stance? No. And that makes me mad. Jajan is literally seeing changes in Tan and just laughs instead of going, wow, he's changing. Wonder what could have caused that. This moment is a moment of good for Tan because he's learning and growing, and it's beautiful. However, it's tainted with bitter irritation because of what the show didn't bother to do. Consistency. Jajan just found out something huge. But let's sweep it all off the cliff and pretend she didn't. Because she's obsessed with Tan, and now she's clearly the one that needs some growing, but we won't go there. And that's frustrating. What I specifically liked about this episode, I can like the fact that yes, at least this time, they have strong evidence that it's definitely Bing Wen, and with everything else happening, there is literally no other way they can get this critical evidence, and also on top of that they sort of get permission because Ugly helps them. What I specifically disliked, number one, the flippant, arrogant servant. Man, I hate arrogant servants. And there are 2 of them in this one. Like, I can't stress enough how stupidly irritating it is when there's this master who's like, so poised and so righteous and so prim and proper. And their servant is a flippant, arrogant bleep. And this is like supposed to be okay, and like I'm supposed to believe that the master is really that great of a person when he literally has a servant that is like this and he's never correcting him? That says something about the master to me. Like, I can't exactly like a master that has a servant like this. Number 2, what I specifically disliked. Also, I know I should be more understanding of the fact that Chunting is crushed over the death of her love. But honestly, I kind of feel like Chunting brought this on herself. With her whole, as far as I'm concerned, prideful reaction to him when he came back, etc. Her pride and her whatever, drove him. She's the one that drove him away to begin with. And then he comes back. And her whole reaction to the way he comes back and the way she's treating him and everything. So for her to be so over the top, dramatic, is her character capable of not being dramatic? Come on! I don't know. Her and Changmin are making me even more annoyed the second time through than they did the first time, and I was already rolling my eyes over them the first time. I have lost people, okay? I know I have lost people myself, and I have watched other people lose people. I know that it can crush someone to the point that she's being crushed. It's all valid and it's all real, but it's just there's something about Chunting and the way that she does it. I don't know. It's frustrating me to the nth degree, and I don't like her, so we're going to move on because, oh, look at that. It's already 10 minutes in, and I'm not even done one episode. I thought I'd be moving quicker. What I had questions about. Number 1, I'm curious. This is used a lot in TV. People talking while they're sleeping due to being unwell. I've never seen it in real life. Specifically and especially doing it so clearly. I'm sure it happens because even I have talked in my sleep and so have other family members. But it's not usually that coherent. Not that much either, especially entirely so coherent. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a rather overused trope of something that's actually not common. What's your thoughts on that? People talking in their sleep, especially so coherently that you understand every single word they're saying and there's that much of it that they're saying. Moving on to episode 20, what I specifically liked. Here it is. I forgot it took this long. Tan admitting straight up he learned something and is changing because of Mirror, which again Jajan sidestepped. But Tan's facing things about himself because of Mirror. More proof to me, by the way, that Jajan, who was already the gray one blurring the lines by stealing, if she thinks it's justified, etc., and she's the one completely rejecting Mirror. It's more proof to me that she's only rejecting Mira for her own selfish reasons. Rejecting and blatantly sidestepping, considering she never asks questions about him at all, ever, not even when Tan's the one to bring it up. Like, he's a total write-off. And you know what? This is actually just as unfair to Tan as it is to Mira, like I already said. Tan is trying to talk about something that's like, you can't bring up a topic more important to him than who Mira is and what that means for Tan's life. She's sidestepping him, ignoring it, not talking to him, nothing. If she was the one constantly bringing it up and pushing it in his face and asking why on earth he won't talk to her about it, that would be wrong on her part. But Tan is the one bringing him up. Tan is the one. And she's completely ignoring it. What I specifically disliked, what was it? Oh, that was a like. That was a like mixed with a dislike, because what I liked was Tan's acknowledging Mira and what Mira has done in terms of Tan growing. What I specifically disliked about this episode, number one, and do I have to say this? Mira is so bad, and yet Jajan, what's your justification for shooting your arrow blindly at face height? What if you killed someone? Two, got nothing against the color thing coming into it, but to say that if it was put into the red vat, it wouldn't have been found as soon is a little odd, considering it wasn't the color that found the body, was it? It was the guy stirring it. And I also get that this plays into the whole grand scheme of things, but honestly, the amount of over-explaining. They spent so much time, it's just a bit too much convoluting to me to have a coincidental second and third murder in one person's death case. The doctor, but actually the doctor's wife, but actually the absolute coincidence, it was Bing Wen. Really? They just didn't want to send the doctor's wife to jail because she's a mommy now, so they gave her an escape by saying the woman actually wasn't dead until Bing Wen hit her. Massive eye roll. Number three, overall the story just gets so out of control and convoluted. It's weird feeling through this whole episode. The crowd mentality is totally realistic, but over this topic, I mean, talk about incredible denial being the only thing saving their sanity. Number four, also, I get it. Finally, Tan put down his fear and is learning to be open and accepting in everything with Jajan, and it's supposed to be beautiful and awesome, and we cheer, because it's about time. But that's not what it feels like to me. I don't know, am I just too sick of seeing this in shows, or did they do it wrong? For Tan to be flustered and helpless and confused after everything that happened last time Mira was out makes sense. But it's not just him that feels different. Jajan suddenly feels weird ever since she came back. And Japan has suddenly been shoved right out of the picture. Japan has been the best friend and the one that knows Tan best throughout the whole show. And now, just because we have Jajan back, and suddenly just because she knows about Mira, Japan is never there and never contributing to these moments and of picking Tan back up. And sigh, I'm just sick and tired of this love story taking over everything else. Like, each character is only allowed to play their part. Like the guards in the crowd. The actors know it's Japan coming up behind them, so they all just casually move to let him through, like they've got eyes in the back of their heads, when they're supposed to be holding back an angry crowd, and humans don't have eyes in the back of their heads, so shouldn't they have been like, oi, oh, it's you, okay. And how the whole angry crowd just obediently / docilely parts ways to dramatically show the grandma, instead of being like, wait, what's he pointing at? Like, what? Because their focus is 100% in front of them. Like, why do characters just so easily get sidelined, specifically because the script says it's now Jajan that's doing all the supporting and encouraging, and to me, it's to the point it almost feels like she's rewiring Tan. The way she talks in such an almost hypnotic kind of way. I'm telling you, she's preaching at him. It's freaking weird. I've always seen you this way. I believe this about you. I. Isn't this supposed to be about Tan? Number 5, I don't freaking care about freaking Chuntang. Like I said, there's a whole deeper I am not sidelining the fact that that would literally crush you if someone you love that much died. That is a whole other topic. It's specifically Chunting, specifically the way that this show portrays Chunting and everything about her. I don't freaking care. Moving on to episode 21, observations. Number 1, Tan remembers the flowers in connection with his mother, thanks to the taste. I mean, it had to have been Tan there, not Mir, if their mother was still alive. But Mir obviously knows the flowers equal Mum, while Tan completely forgot about it. Number 2, so just asking. While trying to prove that this is she's twin, not she, why did no one unbutton his collar and look at his neck? A billion question marks. Or are they claiming this guy's neck was also cut just in case? More question marks? 'Cause you want proof? I'd say that's proof. Number 3, and it's here he says the light bothered him equals clue, but dude, if he was really getting no light, he should have been much paler. And if he grew up in a cave, he should have been bothered not just by light, but by crowd / people / noise too. Just saying. What I specifically liked about this episode is just one thing. Finally some action again. Even if it was just someone attacking Tan, just for a bit there, when they went back to the hotel and it was the 3 of them and this attack happened, it felt more like the show from before. A break from this totally weird mood that's been hanging over the whole thing since Jajan came back. And spoilers, perhaps, but I got excited when someone helped Tan because either it was too predictable or I've just seen too many shows. I knew who it was that did that. What I specifically disliked about this episode, 1, we only know what we had when we lost it. Ugh, the drama around Chunting, Changmin, and Zhang. You know what would have been like really cool instead? Granny's reunion with her only living son! But that's thrown aside. Even though we actually could have seen the reunion without ruining the big reveal of him being not even just shock twins, but also even bigger shock triplets. And instead of that epic reunion, I mean, like, epic, that would have been epic to see. Instead, we have to see this stupid, depressing drama with the love triangle again, instead. I have got a hole in the wall. I am headwalling so hard. Number 2 that I specifically disliked, Chunting reacting like this is the first time she's heard the theory that her dad was not innocent. They already said this like word for word episodes ago. As a theory, not a fact, but still, she's reacting like she's never heard the theory. Like, Episode 22's reaction. A like and a dislike combined. LOL, Jajan, go you go for standing up for yourself. However, also dislike, because Jajan, that's called not just losing your temper like a child. It's called totally disrespecting someone by literally cutting his hair off. Something that means a whole lot more to him than mere hair. I.e., this is a form of serious bullying. Like, over here in our culture and in our time period, we have no idea how serious that was for her to cut his hair off. Go look up some stuff about China's real history. Go look it up and you'll find out how serious that was for her to do that. And yet, you justify it by saying it's due retaliation, and you even further it by claiming they will thank you one day. Yet you, and largely by you, all of us viewers, reject Mirror. She's literally so inconsistent with the way she is. It should have been Mirror that she liked. She basically makes fun of Tan throughout the whole show for being such a law-abiding citizen. Like, she loves him for it, but also like, poor little child. One day, he'll learn when it's okay to loosen up, while the other time she's walking the line, breaking the law when wanting to, has a temper that flares, is reckless, etc., etc. The only difference between her and Mirror being that she's never got someone thrown off a cliff. But the fact she gets to be the judge and decide that Mirror is totally not worth anything, etc., is beyond me. And what I specifically disliked about this episode, I'm getting repetitious, but I don't care. Suffer with me. I seriously cannot at all with Chunting. At all.
给我上！
And because it's only 23 minutes and this is before editing, I'm going to move on to episode 23's reaction. What I specifically liked. Evil laughter. Chungmin's entrance. Number 2 that I specifically liked. Chungmin actually finally proving how smart and how cool he is, which he hasn't done since the inn. Like, way back there. Way back before they even came to this town. Thanks a lot, Chinting/Stupid Love Triangle. Number 3 that I specifically liked, the walking in of the rest of the family. More evil laughter. Even though I don't like the song Family, that was a cool comeback. Yes! What I specifically disliked about this episode, I didn't watch the wedding the first time. I didn't watch the wedding the second time. I will never watch it in the future unless someone pays me to watch it. I do not care. It is disgustingly overdramatic. Number 2 that I specifically disliked, I disliked most of this episode because so much convoluting and needless repetition. Number 3, Japan acting like this is the first time he's heard Liu calling Bingwen her son. 'Cause it's not. What the crap is with that? Like, I swear, in shows so regularly, people are like literally deaf when people are standing right beside them. And yet they can clearly hear things that someone whispers halfway across the world from them. And I am actually going to move on to episode 24 as well, because I don't have much written here for it. Episode 24's reaction. What I specifically liked, just one thing, when Changshun cried. I don't like this guy. And yet, when he cried while finding out what happened to his parents, I almost cried with him. What I specifically disliked, way, and I mean I have like 15 A's and 10 Y's there, way too much time spent on the backstory / unraveling how the plot was carried out. And it was confusing backstory to boot, because there were little details in timing, etc. that just didn't fit. But I can't say what all, because I don't care, so I didn't watch it the second time around. There's just something about the timeline that doesn't fit, and some of the details they're saying that just don't fit. This is way too late in the story. It's way too different feeling from everything else. I know it's supposed to be the big reveal that shows you everything about these bad guys, and I mean, like, I don't remember where I put it, if I ever put it. I mean, like, actually, in actuality, that is a pretty incredible bad guy to know that much and to have that much plotted out and like carried out, and like, wow. But that backstory and the explaining and the I already hate Bengwin, okay, I don't care who he actually is, and the weird old woman is just too weird. Moving on, what I had a question about. Oh look, I have a question again. How do we know the paper is from Hangshan? An old friend told me. I think is what they said. Okay, so Tan means mirror told him? What were those voices in his head? Earlier it looked like Tan figured it out / remembered on his own. But now he's saying it was mirror that told him? So much of the backstory here they aren't telling us at all. So many questions. Where is season 2? And that's a good place to end this. Because, yeah, what else can I say? We've got only 2 episodes left. I'm going to film them after doing this. See, after some of this stuff dragged on, I knew that there was a bunch of these episodes I could go really fast through because they just feel so different from the rest of the episode. The first time and the second time, it was really hard to watch these episodes because, like, as much as I liked everything else in this thing, these ones were just... The only, like, really good thing about them was, like, the mind-blowing that the bad guy was actually doing all this the whole time, and like, so where is season 2? We'll get to episode 25 and 26 in the next reaction video. We are almost done. Finally, after all this time, we are finally almost done. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Was there anything about these episodes in particular that you specifically liked or specifically didn't like, especially if it was something I didn't mention? What are your thoughts? Bye. See you in a couple of minutes in the next video.